Listen to it. You can listen to it. Hello. All right, we'll get started in just a moment. And actually, that gives you a little more time to come on in and for the notification to let you know that we're live. We'll get started in just a moment. Just a moment. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. And just give me just a moment. I just want to make sure that we are live and the notification has reached the masses. So far, I don't see the notification, but I'm sure it's coming. Welcome, 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 welcome. So as you come in, please, if you'll just put in the chat, just put what part of the world you're in. I love to travel, so that'll be great. Put in the chat what part of the world you're in while I'm making sure that we are live. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right. So I see that we are live. So thanks for coming back. Thank you for coming back. Also, before I get started, I also want to say thank you so much for visiting our new YouTube channel. Yes, yes, yes. The team finally got me there. Finally got me there to where I agreed to do more YouTube videos. I had a YouTube channel in the past, but it's just not something that was a priority one focus for me. And I also understand that it is very supportive of our customer base to be able to go onto YouTube and be able to see all of these training videos. So all of the Core for Coaches videos, replays, all of this wonderful information is going to be put up on our YouTube channel. I know that my team is going to drop in the chat if they already haven't. They're going to share with you the link to our YouTube channel. Yes, yes, yes. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful to be back with you again. I am Sophia Casey. I am a master certified coach, MCC. I slow down on purpose when I say master certified coach because I'm so proud of that designation. The MCC credential is the highest credential in the coaching land. Doesn't that sound so dramatic? I'm such a Leo. Yes, it's dramatic. So, but I really am proud of that. And I'm also so proud to be a mentor coach. So this morning I had some wonderful conversations. Last week I had some wonderful conversations with the coaches that I mentor. It was so good. And they've given me permission to bring some of those conversations to you in hopes that it will also support you around your work as a coach, around your work as an internal coach, around your work as a leader, around your work as a professional. Let's just say that. So I will be sharing a little bit about that. And I'm also very, very honored and blessed to be the Chief Empowerment Officer, the CEO. Yes, I made the title up myself. The Chief Empowerment Officer of our ICF Accredited Coach Training School, ICLI Rising. And it's right there's our website. And of course, the team will put our website in the comments as well. We would love to have you come and visit our coach training program. You can come and literally be a fly on the wall. What other coaching school does that? Not many that I know of. So we actually invite guests to come in and sit on the perimeters of the room, if you will, the virtual room, for now, virtual room, and just observe our coaching students coaching, observe some of the instructors instructing. So we welcome you. So please, if you're interested in being a guest of our coach training programs, just let us know. Put it in the comments. You can also send us an email to rising@iclirising.com. And of course, the team will put that in the chat as well. And if you want to be coached, if you're like, oh my goodness, I could really use the support of a coach. I've been talking about some of these goals for quite some time, and I really could use the support of a coach to actually move these goals forward, to like snatch my dreams off of the shelves and really make them real and have what it is that I want in this life. Then we also welcome you to join us as a guest client, where you actually get the opportunity to be coached by a real coach, by one of our coaching students in a private breakout room. Okay. So if that is something that would support you, please, same thing, let us know. Send us an email at rising@iclirising.com or just visit our website and you can click on Meet with Enrollment. But there are many ways to get to us. We would love, love, love to have you. All right. So I closed out my whole series around the ICF Core Competencies. Whew, that was an 8-week series, 8 weeks. Well, actually, I think it turned out to be 9. So I really enjoyed all of the energy, the questions, the comments, all of your epiphanies. I've been getting private messages from a number of you saying that you really appreciate these Core for Coaches conversations because they really do support you. I actually just had someone tell me today, a coach came to me today and she said, Sophia, I asked her, I always ask everybody, how did you get to me? How did you find me? And she's like, well, it's because of LinkedIn. I went to one of your lives. And in one of your lives, you were talking about how when we do not believe in ourselves, like when we don't really have a level of confidence or a high level of confidence, it can show up in our work. It can show up in our coaching work. It can show up in our work as a leader in an organization. And so I was just so grateful. I'm like, okay, the work works. So I'm glad that the work is working and I will continue to come back here so long as it's supportive of you. Okay. So please, please, please let us know. In fact, will you put in the chat, put a number 1, just a number 1 if these conversations have supported you. Put a number 1 in the chat. You put, if I see a whole bunch of 1s, I'll keep coming back. Okay, a number 1 in the chat. And bear with me a moment. I just want to make sure I get my notes up front and center to me. I just lost them that quickly. I want to make sure that I get my notes up because I have so much to share with you and I don't want to forget anything. So bear with me. There we go. All right, I am good to go. So what are we talking about today? We started this 9-week series, or is it 10? 10-week series around saboteurs. And I thank you so much for those of you who already sent me messages about last week's conversation. So last week we kicked off this series around saboteurs, and you may be familiar with saboteurs. It's the work of a wonderful organization called Positive Intelligence, and we use a lot of this work. We use the saboteurs assessment and a lot of the saboteurs work in our coach training program. And the reason that I actually brought it into our coach training program when I was designing the curriculum is because so many coaches, so many entrepreneurs, so many professionals, so many humans are really challenged around having very loud saboteurs. Very loud saboteurs. You know what I mean? Like that inner critic that's saying, or sometimes it shows up as imposter syndrome that says, who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Oh my gosh, you're not smart enough to do that, or you don't have enough experience to do that. So you should just stop working on that altogether. And so as I mentor coaches, as I provide training for coaches, as I have a lot of coaching besties, I'm telling you, one of the number 1, or I say the top things I hear from coaches and leaders, entrepreneurs, when I ask them, why aren't you working in your business? Like what is stopping you from working in your business? Top 3 reasons I certainly hear about accountability. Like, I'm not in really a community. So, once I came out of coach training or once I came out of that training class, life took over. I hear that a lot. And I also hear fear. I'm concerned about what people are going to say, what people are going to think about me. I'm also always hearing, I'm not ready. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I'm strong enough. I don't feel like I have enough skills, or my skills are not at a high enough level for me to actually go and do this work. So thus I paused. Thus I avoided working on my business. Thus I avoid going after and asking for that promotion. Thus I avoid actually asking that beautiful bay honeysuckle person out on a date. I stop and I avoid it. So last week we kicked off this series around saboteurs, and I talked about our number one saboteur, and this is for everyone, the judge. I talked about the judge last week, and now I'm going to start sharing with you a little bit about every single saboteur, the remaining 9 saboteurs. So today we're going to get into a conversation around the avoider. The avoider, the avoider, the avoider, avoider. Try and say that 3 times. The avoider. So we're going to talk about the saboteur, the avoider. And if you will, please put in the chat avoider, the word avoider. You're not saying that you are an avoider, but I just want to make sure you can hear me. So put in the chat the word avoider, the avoider. That's what we're going to talk about today. And so, but before we get into this conversation, I want to hear from you. I want to hear from you because today's conversation is about the avoider. I would love to know from you. Have you struggled with or being challenged around avoiding? And if you could just put a yes or share as much as you'd like to share. Have you ever been challenged around avoiding things, not getting things done because you are avoiding them? I want to hear from you. Okay. And I'm going to give you a moment so I can check in with you as well. Have you been challenged around the avoider or avoiding? And bear with me a second. Make sure I can see you. Okay. Just couldn't see you all. All right. Awesome. And just please put that in the chat. Wonderful, wonderful. So have you ever been challenged around avoiding? Okay. So today's conversation is about your courage. Today we're going to focus on the avoider saboteur, right? And I'm also going to do something that I've never seen done. Okay. And this is specifically for my coaching friends out there. I'm also going to weave in a little bit of conversation around the core competencies, the ICF coaching core competencies, because I love the ICF core competencies, not just to make me a great coach, not just to be able to coach others, but I like to look at the core competencies from over here. So throughout this series, as I talk about the remaining 9 saboteurs, I'm also giving you a bonus, and I'm going to weave in some conversation around the ICF core competencies. Is that good? Is that okay? Put a yes in the chat if you're aligned with that. Okay, awesome. And the reason somebody asked me, like, well, why are you going to weave in around the core competencies if you're talking about saboteurs? Because I can't turn off coach. Coach, I can't turn off coach. I can't turn off coach trainer. It is part of my DNA. All right. So I want to share with you some top ways that avoidance shows up. Okay. So the positive intelligence work says that there are typically 10 saboteurs that show up in our life at some kind of way, at some level of degree, right? Some degree level. And as I said, the number one saboteur is the judge. Everybody has that as their number one in the number one space. Okay. And so as I have this conversation with you over the next several weeks, the next 9 weeks, I want you to think about and get maybe some awareness around which saboteurs that I'm sharing with you are the loudest for you. Okay. I want you to think about that and get more information and get curious about that. And I'm also going to offer to you, I'm not just going to leave you with a bunch of saboteurs. I'm also going to offer to you some things for you to consider, some ways that you can turn down the volume. Okay. So one of the ways that people tend to avoid, I'm just going to share some ways. So for coaches, because I work with a lot of coaches, I'm going to share how it sometimes shows up for coaches. I'm going to share how it shows up for consultants, because I'm also a consultant and I work with a lot of consultants. And I'm also going to share with another group that I work with quite a bit, and that's corporate leaders. Corporate leaders. So in terms of coaching, let me ask you before I put in all my gems. As a coach, how do you avoid, or how does avoidance show up for you as a coach? How does avoidance show up for you as a coach? Okay. Oh my goodness, that's great. Coach Karen Saunders. Thank you so much. Oh, PHR. I love seeing that acronym. I know that acronym well. You've done some work. Okay, so Coach Karen says she avoids the pitch. Anybody can relate? You avoid pitching yourself to someone else or pitching yourself to a corporation. As I said, I'm a coach, I'm a consultant, I work with a lot of corporate leaders, so I can totally relate to you, Coach Karen, that sometimes when I get ready to go and pitch myself to a client to hire me as their one-on-one coach, when I get ready to create my proposal for a corporation and pitch myself to them for them to hire me as their team coach or as a consultant, you know what happens. My palms get sweaty. I can feel the nervousness literally in my stomach. My mind wants to go into overthinking. My avoider saboteur, although the avoider saboteur is not high up on my list, it's still there. We have all these saboteurs. So sometimes what happens is the avoider will say, oh no, do that later. Right? Can you relate to that, Coach Karen? When you go to do that pitch, it's like, yes, I really want to pitch myself to this company. I really want to work with this company. I really want to work with this one-on-one client. Yeah, I'll do it later. So as coaches, sometimes it can show up as ghosting your leads. Ooh, yes, I said it. Clutch your pearls. Clutch your pearls. It can show up as ghosting your leads. And I have it that's for coaches, consultants, leaders, all of us. When you know you have a lead, you have a warm lead, you have a hot lead, even if it's a lukewarm lead, but you don't follow up. You don't follow up. One of the things I have shared with my team, our team at ICLI Rising, something that we've been working very diligently around is we get an awful lot of leads. And I'm grateful for that, right? That is not a complaint. We get so many leads. We get so many people coming to our events, so many people reaching out to us and saying, oh, I want to know more about coach training. Or, oh, yes, I want to enroll in your coach training program. Or, oh, can you tell me what is coaching and what does your training even include? And we had a history of not having systems in place, right? To immediately reach out, immediately connect with those people. And so sometimes it showed up as ghosting leads. We were not doing it on purpose, okay? Look, some of you are like, yeah, I know, it's one of those leads, okay? So now we're doing a better job at making sure that every single week that we are connecting with people, we're connecting with those leads. So as coaches, the way the avoidance could show up is that you're ghosting leads. Another way that I hear quite a bit is you are avoiding visibility. You're avoiding visibility. I tell you, I cannot tell you how many times coaches reach out to me, how many times coaches and consultants who come to my events say to me, Coach Sophia, I'm not there. I'm not showing up on LinkedIn. I'm not showing up on the other social media platforms. I'm not showing up in networking events. I'm not showing up. I'm not showing up. And most times when they come to me for consulting or mentoring, most times we can point their lack of clients directly to them not being visible. Now, I want to be clear. I am not saying or suggesting that everybody has to be on social media like me. I'm not suggesting that everybody has to love being on these social media platforms like I do. I happen to be a high extrovert and this fuels me. I'm not saying that in order to be a successful coach, in order to be a successful business owner, in order to be a successful consultant, in order to be a successful leader, that you always have to be showing up and you have to show up on these social media platforms. However, I am saying, and I am challenging you to think about what visibility looks like for you. How could you still not avoid being visible, but be visible, but in a way that's authentic for you? This, me showing up on this platform and doing lives. And I used to do I literally made my first business very successful by showing up live and doing lives on Facebook. So that works for me because it sources me. I feel comfortable. I love being connected with you all. But if that's not authentic for you, how could you be more visible so that the people who want to work with you can find you? They can't work with you if they can't find you, right? So I want you to put that in the chat. How could you be more visible? And I'm going to ask my team to put any of your comments up on the screen for me so that I can see them, because sometimes I can't quite see your comments. Okay. Another way that avoidance can show up for coaches and consultants is stalling around your content. Now, I do not profess to be a content, what do you even call them? I don't know, like an influencer or a digital marketer or anything. Like all that stuff boggles my mind. That's why I'm so grateful I have a wonderful, very capable team, and I collaborate with subject matter experts that are great at that kind of stuff. I'm okay at it. I still see like content is like playing. So if it feels like play, then yes, I will go and post something. But in terms of the strategy around it, it's not my thing. So I partner with somebody where that is their strength. So okay, want to check in a bit. Okay, so Coach Karen, thank you so much. Coach Karen says, "Oh, I keep losing you all. I don't know why. Bear with me a moment. Tech gremlins, be gone. Be gone." Okay, there we go. I can see it now. Coach Karen says, there are so many platforms. Getting those systems in place for visibility is key. Yes, there are tons and tons of platforms. But here's the thing that I hear, Coach Karen, a lot is that, oh my gosh, I'm so glad. This is like perfect timing. What I hear a lot from coaches, business owners, consultants, leaders is that yes, they're aware that they need to have those platforms and those systems and more visibility and have those things in place because, as you say, those things are key. But what I also hear is that it's not in their zone of genius. It's not in their zone of genius, right? And so if it's not in their zone of genius, then most likely, guess what's going to happen? The avoider saboteur is going to get really loud and say, nope, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Nope, don't go try and figure out how to build a funnel. Oh my gosh, I break out into hives every time I even think about that. Like, no, avoid that. Don't go and worry and be focused on making sure that you are more visible so that the people who need to hire you can. All right. So our saboteur avoider says, no, 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 no. Give me just a moment. I'm checking in with you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that, Coach Karen. So, all right. So, good to see you again. Karenette says, it's funny you mentioned visibility because I avoid that also. But because I'm a full-time employee and my employer paid for my training, I don't want to make myself too visible and draw attention to myself or question whether or not I am able to do my full-time job and my side business. Woo! Karenette, I want to talk to you later offline, and I will share some things that I believe will be supportive of you. I am so grateful you said this. I hear this a lot, and I'm hearing it a lot more in my groups, I'll say in the US, because right now the US is experiencing an enormous amount of change. And so a lot of conversations I'm in, a lot of people are sharing about like, oh yes, I want to start this business, but I am also a full-time employee. And I don't want my employer to think that I'm out doing this on work time, right? I hear all of that. What tends to happen in those regards is that the avoider has gotten spooked. The avoider has gotten scared, right? Our saboteurs are not bad. I want to be clear. Saboteurs are not bad. We just don't want our saboteurs to rule our lives. We don't want the avoider to always be speaking so loudly in our ear. We don't want the avoider to always be so scared that it tells us to stop. Don't do this. Don't do it. Don't do it. Stop, stop. Oh my gosh, you want to start your business? Well, wait a minute. Girlfriend, don't you know you got a 9 to 5? You need to be focused on that. And what is my boss going to think? And here's what I offer you. I hadn't planned on doing this, but Karenette, here you are. So I hadn't planned on doing any coaching, but what I want to offer to you and to all of you who are listening, who have a really high avoider saboteur, is to consider asking. Yeah, I said that. So if my team will put that in the chat, ask, ASK. I'm saying ASK. Ask. I imagine you have a great relationship with your manager, or you have at least built relationship with your manager. Consider the way to turn down the volume on the avoider and to stop avoiding working in that business or launching your business while you do have a full-time job is to go have a conversation with your boss. I'm grateful to have 3 businesses. My first business I actually started while I was a full-time employee, not just a full-time employee, I was a full-time director, right? Can you imagine? I was director of enterprise-wide training, working with patent engineers and patent attorneys, full-time. And another time I was a director of human resources. So I was a full-time employee. And I also fell in love with this coaching work so much so that I'm like, well, I also want to have a coaching business too. How can I do both? And in the organization that I worked for, you actually have to be very, very clear about any outside employment. So my avoider was really loud. And so at times what I would do is, oh no, I would stop. Like, no, that's not going to be okay. It's not going to be okay for me to start a business or have a business while I'm also a full-time employee. And then I'm so grateful for the work of coaching. I'm so grateful to have worked with a coach at that time who supported me around brainstorming or thinking about or being creative with other ways to have both things. How can I create a win-win for the organization that I worked with and a win-win for myself to be able to have a business? How could I do both? And I literally went into my manager's office and had a conversation. And I asked, how can I make both of these work? I was grateful. I was a darn good employee. I know you are too, right? Right? Great employee. Always getting those great performance evaluations. Can you all relate? So I'm grateful for that because it opened the door for my manager and me to have a conversation around how we could make both, or I could make both work. And what I ended up doing when I started my coaching business is I would sometimes coach before work. Sometimes I would split my lunch break in half and use half of that time to coach, and I would coach after work. So I'm still honoring my time on my 9 to 5 job. I need you all to do that. Don't go back to work and say, Coach Casey said that I can quit or I'm going to do. No, I am suggesting that you think about how can you create a win-win? How can you create a win-win and turn down the volume on the avoider and work in your business? How can they both work? And that's some of the work that we do as coaches. So I also want to encourage you, Karenette, if you're not working with a coach, I want to connect with you. I want you to connect with us. And we're happy to pair you up with a coach who can support you around continuing to turn down the avoider. All right, I got to check in with you all. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this conversation. So yes, consider asking. Have a conversation with your manager. Create a win-win. All right, I'm checking back in again. Awesome. Okay, Coach Karen said, I know that's right. Coach Cheryl, oh my gosh, there's Coach Cheryl Presswood, a phenomenal credentialed coach. Good to see you here. Coach Cheryl says, this is right on time. This is right on time. I'm so grateful. I am so grateful because, like I said, we all have all 10 of these saboteurs. We have all 10 of them, all of them. Now, the degree to how high their each saboteur's volume is, that may be a little different. Okay, so Karenette says, you are speaking to me now because I am a senior leader. Oh, senior leader in the government. We really have to talk. We probably know the same people. Senior leader in the government who is about to take over a very large regional office. So first of all, can you all say congratulations to Coach Karen in the chat? Yes. So first of all, Coach Karenette, congratulations on that big win. And I'm going to encourage you to still consider even having that job, right? Managing, being the regional manager over a very large regional office can still work hand in hand with you actually being an entrepreneur as well, right? So one thing I forgot to add is when I went to my manager, my manager was very helpful in that she was able to give me some ideas on how I could make it work, right? And of course, I calmed her nerves by letting her know I'm not doing it on work time. This is when I'm coaching. And she also gave me a wonderful idea, and that was to connect with our, what is it called? Like the legal office. I'm going to say general counsel's office, right? To check in with them to find out if they have any resources. Like, is it okay? Well, first of all, I knew it was okay for me to have a business, but how can I do that in a way that there's no conflict of interest or anything like that? So she gave me that idea. That would not have happened if I wasn't willing to go in and have the conversation and ask. Okay, I'm going to go a little further. I know I'm running over, but this conversation is so good. So good, so good, so good. So let me back up a little bit. I want to continue offering you just a few more nuggets, and I know I have to wrap up soon. So a lot of times the way the avoider talks or what the avoider says is things like this. If I wait, I'll be more ready. You know what? It's just not the right time. I literally just had, well, she came in the door as a potential client, say those very words to me. I'm not sure it's the right time. I'm not sure it's the right time. And because of this work that I've done, this work that I love so much, called being an executive coach, I didn't jump right in and say to her, oh, yeah, no, it's the right time. You can make it the right time. Make it right. No, it's not about me. It's all about her. And what my coaching skills have taught me to do is to stay curious. And so that had me actually ask her. It had me get curious. And I asked her, when is the right time? And she giggled, like, right? And she thought about the question. She's like, when is the right time? And she's like, well, I don't know. I said, oh, what would make now or tomorrow or next year or 10 years from now, what would make those times the right time? And you can imagine that opened up such a conversation that finally resulted in her saying, I don't want to put it off anymore. And then she hired me. Yay. I'm not a salesperson. I don't have to be a salesperson. In this work I do as a coach, as a consultant, and what I constantly challenge my mentees to do, and in our coach training program, what we talk about is keep the light over there. It's not about you. And if you're willing to be of service, the money will come, the clients will come, you'll get hired. Okay, let me keep going. I was just so excited about that conversation because she literally said that it's not the right time. And then that conversation morphed into like, the time is right now. So also, let's see. I also hear sometimes, or the avoider will say, if I just stay busy, I'll feel better. So let me just be busy and just numb the discomfort of me not building my business, or let me numb the discomfort of not going after what it is I say I really and truly want. So let me just stay really, really busy. Okay. Avoiders avoid clarity. That's what the avoider is doing. The avoider is fearful. That saboteur is fearful because you're about to step outside your comfort zone and try something new. And the avoider is like, no, 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 danger, danger. Stay over here in the comfort zone. And we don't have all the details. We don't know everything, all the details about that new thing. So don't go there. And the way to turn down the volume is to be clearer, to get more clarity, right? Like I said, I didn't have a lot of clarity about, I'm working here full time. Can I also have a business? Until I went to my manager and I asked, how could this work? So then I got more clarity. I got some facts. Like, Sophia, yes, you can have a business while you still work here full time. And here are the parameters. Here's the structure. Here are the steps you need to take to do that. Right? And then it was easy. Okay. So avoiders avoid clarity. Right? They avoid clarity. And so I am challenging you. If there's something that you're avoiding, is there a dream that you have put on the shelf? I am challenging you to go get clearer, to go get more clear about what it is that you want, and also to go get clear around what are the facts. What is it that you need to do? What are the next steps? And that's where a coach can certainly support you. Okay, I'm gonna go a little further and then I gotta wrap up. So for consultants, I want to encourage you to accept clear or have a lot of clarity in your work. So somebody earlier said, I think it was Coach Karen said earlier, that she sometimes avoids pitching herself to corporations. How can we get clearer? How can you get more clarity around that company? How can you get more facts, right? Because again, the avoider hovers around unclarity. Like, I don't know. So thus I'm scared. I don't know. So I'm not even going to move forward. How can you get more clarity? Well, the way that I do it as a consultant, I go learn all that I can about that organization. I also talk to decision makers and I invite them to have me come in. I said, let me just come in. Let me come and talk to you. Let me come and talk to some of your folks. Some of your folks. Sometimes I do interviews, getting the facts, getting to know them, building relationship. And that way my avoiders volume turns down because I am now clear about the facts and I'm also in action. I'm actually in action. Okay, I really do have to wrap up. This is so hard. Let's see. And for leaders, one of the ways that the avoider shows up, I saw this a lot when I worked in corporate and when I worked in the public sector. One of the ways that the avoider can get really loud and show up in your work for leaders is that leaders delegate without clear expectations, clear instructions. My team members have really helped me around that. They helped me so much by saying, okay, Sophia, you want me to do what? And what is the outcome that you're after, Sophia? So they really have supported me in my leadership by asking me questions. And so as leaders, we want to make sure, again, that there's clarity, that we are clear. And by being more and more clear, we are turning down the volume on the avoider. All right, let's see. This is a great quote I want to share with you. Being nice is not the same as being clear. I love Brene Brown says, clear is kind. Will someone on my team please drop that in the comments? That quote right there has helped me so much. She says, Brene Brown says, clear is kind. So the more clear you get around the thing that you're avoiding, the more clarity you have around what you're avoiding. the more you are turning down the volume on the avoider. And then you can crank up the volume and be in action to actually have the life that you desire. I'm sorry, that just hit me. I know it's for you, but that really hit me too. So being nice is not the same thing as being clear. Avoidance can feel gentle, but it actually creates confusion. So I have a few questions for you. What conversation are you avoiding? What are you avoiding in your business? What are you avoiding in your relationships? What are you avoiding in terms of yourself? Ooh, I know that was delicious, right? What are you avoiding? I want to challenge you to ask yourself those questions. And then I'm going to go even further, and I want to challenge you with answering those questions for yourself and then take action. Take action. Go hire a coach. Go to coach training school. Call one of your besties, right? Get a mentor. I want to encourage you to take action. When we are in inspired action, again, when we are in inspired action, it turns down the volume on the avoider. I don't know about y'all, but this was good for me. I hope it was good for you too. If this was helpful to you all, if this really supported you, this is what I want you to write in the chat. I want you to write, I'm clear. Yes, just the words, I'm clear. Because you just got some more clarity just being in this conversation. I want you to write, I'm clear, if this conversation has supported you. All right, I know I'm way over. My team has beat me up. Yes, I know. I just have to check in one more time. Yes. Cachet says clarity is kindness. That's what Brene Brown says. I love that quote. Yes, clear is kind. Yes, thank you so much for saying that. Oh my gosh, thank you, Coach Karen said this was so good. I really appreciate that. Thank you. You helped make it so. Thank you to my teammates, Sharna, Anaya, Malik. Thank you so much, Charlotte, for being here. I really appreciate your support. I'm going back, making sure I caught. Oh, Coach Cheryl, thank you so much. Coach Cheryl says, thank you. Oh, she says, congratulations. Oh, because I got hired. Yay. And also, I received that congratulations also because one of my mentees, one of the coaches that I mentor, she got hired. She got her first full pay client today. Yes, she did. All right. Yes. Coach Cheryl says, yes, this is right on time. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate you all so very much. I promise I'll be back next week. Same time, same bat time. I'm here on LinkedIn Live for Core for Coaches every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. I look forward to seeing you soon. Please check in with us at iclirising.com. We're here to support you. And I can't wait to tell you about this incredible program that we're about to launch. It's a mastermind. Delicious. That's as much as I'll say for now. Turn on the notifications for me, and then you'll be notified every time that I post about our programs and the wonderful workshops and things we have coming down the pike. I'm so grateful. Thank you for letting me in your space today. Go take great care of each other, and most importantly, take great care of yourself. Ciao for now. Awesome. Thanks for checking out the YouTube channel. Thank